Well, hi, fifth graders. Mr. Greenfield here again. I just want to review the science concepts that we were working on last week. Last week, you watched a video in FOSS on weathering and erosion, and then you also did a tutorial on that later in the week. I just want to review those concepts. If you remember weathering, there's two types of weathering, the chemical weathering and physical weathering. I have an example of some physical weathering here. I have a rock. If I can hold that up correctly here. Maybe if I turn it this way, you can see the cracks in the rock. Now, those cracks, as water runs down through those cracks, it will freeze, the ice will expand, and then it will thaw. The more water will flow in, it'll freeze and expand again. And over time, over thousands of years, this will eventually crack into smaller particles. This rock that I have here, I'm not sure if the coloration shows up real well. As you can see on the front of that rock, there's a rust color on there. It's a little bit different shade. You can see that line through the front there. That is a form of chemical weathering. So that rust will break the particles or the rock into smaller particles and break them down over time. Eventually, we'll get smaller particles like this and then even smaller yet. So if you remember, weathering in a nutshell is basically the breaking down of rock into smaller particles, whereas erosion is a little bit different. Erosion is the carrying away of those weathered materials and putting them in a new location. So that carrying away of weathered materials in the form of maybe wind, water, ice. If you've ever been on the playground in the spring on a windy day and you're playing on the baseball field or the softball field, and all that sand or that grit, that small particles of rock gets blown up into your face and you have to close your eyes, or you feel the stinging on your skin, that's wind erosion. It's carrying those particles to a new location. Or you've maybe been out in your yard or around your community after a heavy rainstorm and you've seen where those small particles, the soil particles, have washed away and left little rivulets through your yard. That would be erosion in the form of water. So there's a video linked below this that will go over our benchmarks for our standards. And we're going to be reviewing weather and erosion. You'll have some reading assignments this week and an assignment on scholastic study jams. So I want you to click on the video below this and look at those, and we'll be in touch.